Hello everyone, this is the story of the boys of the Chill on Demand. Okay, let's start. When we were children at my grandparents' country house, a family party always ran late into the night and we all ended up in the living room watching the same series on the old screen. I used to fall asleep on the couch after asking for one more episode. Although my father didn't used to allow very dark scenes. That night, there were a lot of people. Someone lounged in the kitchen. Anybody could come and go through the back door. Nobody suspected what would happen, and everything seemed normal. The room was full of voices and edits. Some people would stream videos from their phones, of others switched channels, and a few, as faithful viewers, liked to binge watch a whole series. We used to ask for an extra episode and keep the screen on demand until sleep took us. Although television was comfort and company, that night the atmosphere changed without warning. I fell asleep on the armchair. I felt like I had only closed my and opened my eyes, and when I opened them again, nobody was watching the series. Time seemed to speed up. Minutes turned in seconds. I noticed an intense cold that only reached the part of my body seeking out of the chair. It was as strange as an old clock suddenly running backwards, as sharp as a winter wind down a well, and as uncertainly as a door that closes by itself. I looked down and saw a small boy pass by the edge of the chair and stop to stare at me. At first I thought I was dreaming. I looked away, pinched myself, and when I looked back, he was still here. He began to speak in a language I didn't understand. His words sounded like dry leaves and wind. His voice made me drowsy until I fell asleep from fear. In that moment, I felt less brave and more timid and vulnerable. His presence was one of the most terrifying of my childhood, and the room became the darkest I had known.
Days later, we had another family gathering. My 5-month-old brother slept in a different room. Suddenly, we heard him cry. We ran and opened the door. We all saw how the baby seemed to be lifted from the crib and fell to one side. The window beside the crib was open. If someone had put a hand through it to take him, it was impossible. From the outside, the window sat very high, in a place where heaven, an adult who had great difficulty putting an arm through. Years later, I tried as an adult confirm your physical cannot react in that way. Nobody could explain what happened. Nobody was someone take him, and there was nothing that explained the scene. The next morning, there appeared on the baby's left arms a mark shaped like a palm and fingers, a bruise that looked like the imprint of one small hand. Yet the hand-shaped bruise was larger than the baby's own hand and did not match our hands then. The coloring showed he had been grabbed hard. We compared that print to our own hands and to any hand we could remember, and nothing matched. Something inexplicable had occurred. We thought anything an accident prank, a clumsy fall, but no one of our logical explanations survived close scrutiny. Over time, we learned that at the back of the proprietary there was an old cabin where, years before, the family who lived there reported their 7-year-old son missing. Later, the parents, devastated, ended their lives in that same house for reasons nobody could clarify. The cabin left a present that fell everywhere and yet nowhere at once. Instead of answer, the house offered all questions that overhead like dust on the screen when it flickered. Local says the place breathed the heaviest kind of sorrow. The creature I saw under the chair never had a clear ending. I cannot say it was good nor evil. One night it simply stopped appearing, and we never knew what became of it. We stopped saying, and that was all. Nowhere did we find an explanation, and everywhere the Eunice reminded Someone could claim it was imagination. Anybody could say that, but the marks and the feeling were real for us. Instead of certainty, we were left with more questions. The experience changed people and habits. Some family members became more cautious, others more suspicious. I, who used to be brave and curious, grew more timid and afraid of the dark. I compared that fear to the other moments. It was more intense than any nightmare, as cold as January dawn, and more insulting than the stories we used to stream on quiet nights. The cabin was the most insulting place on the proprietary. Its memory the most mysterious, and the presence under the chair was one of the most haunting events of my childhood. We kept getting together. We kept streaming movies and watching episodes. Sometimes we used it to log like before. Other times we didn't used to talk about it aloud. Talk we tried to normalize that gatherings. Although we wanted normality, the tensions remained. Nothing on the screen prepared us for what happened, and even though life went on. The sense that something could reappear under a chair or at the edge of a screen never fully went away. In every shadow, someone or something seemed possible. Nowhere was there a final answer, and everywhere the memory stayed. And that's all. Thanks for your attention.